Hey Refuel fam, my name is Rachel and I'm so happy to be with you today. My favorite verse in the Bible comes out of Psalms 13. And as David's writing this psalm, he's wrestling with God. He's in anguish. He thinks God has left him. But he has this heart shift in verses 5 and 6. And this is where my favorite verse comes in. David writes, "But I will trust in your unfailing love. I will rejoice because you have rescued me. I will sing to the Lord because he is good to me." I wonder if David has this heart shift because of who he's known God to be in the past. You see, I think we all have these moments in our lives where we can look back and we see that God showed up even when we didn't know if he was there, that God was working in our heart even if we weren't quite aware of it. And so my question for you today is, when you look back on your life, when you reflect, where do you see God show up? Throughout elementary school, middle school, and high school, I changed schools a good number of times. And every time that I changed schools, I was always nervous to step into a new school because I didn't know who my friends were going to be. I didn't have any relationships with any of the kids around me. And it was quite scary and nerve-wracking and sometimes frustrating. But when I look back on my life now, I see that God was working through all of those changes, that God was placing the right friendships in my path, the right relationships, that God was bringing me the teachers that I needed at that time in my life. And even though it was scary then, I'm thankful now that I had all those changes because now I see that God was working. And so when you look back on your own life, where do you see that God is showing up? You see, I think when we look back and we reflect and we see God, that's when Psalms 13, 5 and 6 becomes an echo in our lives, that we can see that God's unfailing love was with us the entire time, that God was rescuing us and protecting us from maybe certain people or situations we weren't supposed to be a part of, that God was good to us. And so even now, when we step into new seasons of our lives where maybe we don't know if God is working in the way we think he is, or we can't really tell what he's trying to work out within us, that's when Psalms 13, verses 5 and 6 can become our prayer. That we can say to God, I will trust in your unfailing love because of how I've seen it work in the past. That I will rejoice because I know you will rescue me because you rescued me back then. That I will sing because I know you are good to me, even in the midst of my struggle and my hardship. And so my prayer for you today, Refuel fam, is that when you reflect back on your life, that you see that God's unfailing love and that's talked about in Psalms 13 is echoed in your life, and it becomes your prayer for today and every day. Have a great day.